So it is our group. Our group is 79. Okay.
Nice row.
Yes, bro.
Yes,
Red.
Just hold on a minute. I'm opening and then we can start. Hold on a minute. Okay. So I think, guys, we can start. Let us continue. Let us continue. Let us continue. Okay. So this is what we have done so far. We finished chapter 2, right? So this is what we did last time. We looked at how we are supposed to be doing chapter 2. Okay, and I remember telling you that chapter 2 is all about literature review. Okay, literature review is other people's information. It's you reviewing other people's information. Okay, and the whole of literature review is secondary data. That means that you are going to be copying this information from other people's work, other people's dissertations. Okay, so that's why we call it literature review. You are reviewing other people's information. Okay, if let's say someone wrote about bonuses, or he did a dissertation about employee performance, you can copy some of this information and then you bring it here and then paste it there. Okay, so that's why we call it literature review. Okay, has Faduma joined in? Has Faduma joined in? Red, has Faduma joined in? Mahmoud Hared, please answer.
Yeah, boss, she doesn't.
Then
I don't know what's wrong. Wow.
Have you shared with her the link?
Yeah, yes, I did. I have done.
Then who is this one? Whose names are question marks? I'm seeing someone, but the names are question marks.
Who is called who?
Actually, she has left. This number has left. I saw question marks, but I didn't see the name. So, but she has left. Anyway, let us continue and wait for Faduma. So let us start chapter 3, guys. Unless if you have any questions, please, you can ask me. Okay, if there's something that you didn't understand, please, you can ask me. And in case there is no any question, let us start chapter 3. We have already finished chapter 2, so let us start chapter 3. But chapter 3, guys, you have to be very careful because chapter 3 is a little bit tricky. Okay, and chapter 3 is called methodology, or it contains what we call methodology. Okay, that's why we usually name it methodology. Okay, so let me first save it. Let me first save the work before proceed. Okay, this is research. Let me see, research 79. Okay, so let us go to chapter 3. Now, chapter 3 contains what we call methodology. Okay, some people they call it research methodology, but it's the same thing. And I remember when we are I remember telling you that whenever you're starting any new chapter, you're supposed to begin with what? Introduction. Okay, so we are going to start with introduction here. Okay, then under this introduction, you're supposed to explain the contents of this chapter. Okay, whenever you start even any new chapter, you're supposed to begin with what? With introduction. Then under that introduction, you're supposed to explain all the contents of this chapter. For instance, we're going to say that this chapter, okay, contains research design, comma, target preparation, comma, sample size, comma, sampling techniques, comma, data sources, comma, data collection tools, comma, data collection tools or instruments, comma, validity and reliability of the instruments, comma, data processing, comma, data analysis, comma, ethical considerations, And lastly, limitations of the study. Okay, so these are the things that are going to be contained in what? In chapter 3. Okay, so whenever you start in a new chapter, you need to begin with what? With introduction. Okay, then under that introduction, you're supposed to list or you summarize all the contents of that chapter. Okay, so it's the same thing that you're supposed to do whenever you begin any new chapter. Whether you're in chapter 1, whether you're in chapter 2, you're supposed to begin with introduction. Whether you go to chapter 3, you begin with introduction. If you go to chapter 4, you begin with introduction. If you go to chapter 5, you begin with what? Introduction. Then under that introduction, you're supposed to talk about or list all the contents of what? Of all the contents of that chapter. Okay, and then we're going to start tackling one by one. So let us start with research design here. So research design is going to be 1.1, research design. Okay, so after research design, we shall go to target population, just like that. Okay, so let us begin with research design. Okay, if you have any question, please ask me. If there is something that you don't understand, if there is something that is not clear, please, you have to ask me, tell me. So let us go to research design. Now, under research design, there are very many types of research design. Okay, just hold on. My computer is a little bit slow because it's doing very many things at the moment. But under research design, we have different types of research design. Abdul is raising the hand. What is it, Abdul? Abdul Ahmed Jama?
Teacher, that analysis is chapter 3 or chapter 4?
Data analysis. Now, all this is chapter 3. We are just explaining how we are going to analyze data. This is not the data, the analysis of data. No, those one we are going to do that in chapter 4. But you have to explain how we are going to analyze it, because we are going to talk about quantitative data analysis and qualitative data analysis. Okay, so this data analysis is in chapter 3, but we are explaining the methods that you are going to go through to analyze data. Okay, the methods, the approaches that you are going to go through to do data analysis. Okay, but in chapter 4, that's where you're supposed to analyze the data and interpret and do all those things. But in chapter 3, you're supposed to explain, okay, explain the methods that you're going to use to analyze the data. That's why we have data analysis here. Okay, so let us continue. If you have any questions, please ask me. So let us continue. Now, under research design, there are very many types of research design. Okay, so let me first give you different types of research design. Okay, we have very many, but of course, I'm going to give you the ones that are most used. Okay, we have what you call correlational. My computer is a little bit slow. We have what you call correlational research design. We also have what you call cross-sectional research design. We have what you call descriptive research design. We have what you call case study research design. Then we also have time series. Okay, and then there are also so many other types of research design, but these are the ones that are most commonly used. Okay, so whichever course that you are doing, you should be able to pick one of these ones. Okay, because these are the most common ones. Okay, I'm not going to list all the types of research design that we have. There are so many. There are very many. But the ones that most supervisors want, or the ones that most supervisors prefer, are these ones. Okay, so when do you use correlation research design? So if you are using many to one format or objectives, then therefore in chapter 3 you're supposed to use correlational research design. Okay, I remember in specific objectives I told you that we have two methods or two formats. We have general method, and then we also have what you call minute one method. Okay, some people call it method, some people call it format. So if you're using minute one format or minute one method or objectives, okay, then just call it method so that I don't confuse you. Then strictly you have to use what you call correlational research design. Okay, so you need to know when you're supposed to use correlational research design. Then in case you're using general method objectives, then you're supposed to use correlational research design. Okay, then if you are using if you are doing bachelor's degree in a course, okay, you're supposed to use descriptive, meaning that these two are for master's degree. Okay, these two are for master's degree, guys. Then if you are doing public health, then you can use this one. If you are doing public health, you can use what you call case study research design. Then in case you are doing statistics, you are doing economics, You are doing economic policy and planning. Okay. Then the research time that you're supposed to use is what? Is time series. Okay, so those are the procedures that you need to go through whenever you're going to do a research design. Okay, you pick a research design depending on these things. Okay, if you're doing masters, then you can use any of these two. Let me just write them in brackets because I want to show you that some of the research designs that we have here, one of them actually is for bachelor's degree, then the rest they are for masters. Okay, let me just put them in bracket form, something like this. Okay, then I'm going to do like this. Okay, something like that. Okay, so if you are doing masters, then you can use any of these. Okay, all these are used by people who are doing masters. But if you are doing bachelors, then you have to use descriptive research design. Okay, then use a different color. Okay, so this is for masters. For master's degree, if you're doing master's degree, you can use correlation research design, you can use cross-sectional, you can use case study, you can use time series. Okay, that is if you're doing masters. Then if you're doing bachelor's degree, then you can use descriptive research design. Okay, so that is the difference between those people who are doing master's degree and the people who are doing bachelor's degree. So if you're doing masters, you only have these options to use as your research design. Then if you're doing bachelor's, you can as well use this one. Okay, but before we do that, I want to show you something. I want to show you a method that all of us use whenever we're doing chapter 3. Okay, we are going to be applying this method. Let me just say structure chapter 3 that we are going to be using in chapter 3. Okay, the first thing that you're supposed to do is state the item. State the item, define the item, explain the item. Okay, and then give a justification. The justification is the same as the reason why you're using that item. The reason or the advantage or the reason for using that item. Okay, so this is the structure that you're supposed to follow when you're in chapter 3. Okay, the first thing is state the item. The second thing is define it. Okay, let me put it in green. Then the third one is explain it. Okay, let me put it in blue. And then the last one is what? It just is the justification. So whenever you're doing chapter 3, okay, starting from research design up to data collection tools, okay, we are supposed to use this structure. Okay, we are going to state the item first, define that item, explain the item, and then we give you the justification or the reason for using that item. So that is the structure that you're supposed to be using. So remember we are still under research design. So in this case, which research design do you think we should use? I want you people to tell me which research design do you think we should use? Can someone tell me which research design we should use according to our research?
Descriptive research design.
No, at the moment, yes, we're using correlational because in the objectives, we used minute one format objectives. Okay, therefore, we are going to use correlation research design. We could have used the descriptive, but the format I'm using is for masters. But if you're doing bachelors, then you can use descriptive because descriptive is general. Whether you're doing accounting, whether you're doing public health, whether you're doing what, you can use descriptive if you're doing bachelors. Okay, but if you're doing masters, you only have 4 options of research design. You can either use this or this or this or this. If you're doing public health, you can use this. If you're using general method of objectives, then you can use cross-section. If you're using minute one format objectives, then you can use correlational. So in this time around, we are going to be using what? Correlational research design because we used minute one format of objectives. In chapter 1, if you remember, in our chapter 1, we used minute one format of objectives. So that's why we are going to use correlational research design. Now, remember I've already showed you the structure that we're supposed to be using. Okay, just hold on. We are supposed to use this structure that I've put down here. My computer is a little bit slow, just to bear with me. Okay, but it's about to finish whatever it is doing. Just hold on a minute. Computer is a little too slow. So now the research design that we're going to use is what? Is correlational research design. So remember, we are going to apply this method, this structure. We need to state the item first. After stating the item, we define it. After defining, we explain it. After explaining, we give a reason or a justification for using that item. Okay, so we are going to state, but we are going to say that the study or the researcher, can even say the study, will be based on correlational research design. Now this one is stating the item. Okay, let me put it in color red. Now tell me what is next. We have stated the item now. That's why I put it in red. What is next? Can someone tell me what is next? The next thing should be defining the item. Okay, because we have stated the item. The second thing should be defining the item. The item in this time around is what? Is correlation research design. Okay, so that is the item that we're supposed to define. So we are going to do the next thing, which is defining the item. How do we define? We are supposed to look for the definition of correlation research design. So we are going to go back to our internet. Let us go back to Google. Okay, let us go to Google and then we look for the definition of correlational research design, just like this. Okay, we are looking for the definition because we are on define the item. So this is the definition. You can copy it just like this if you want. I'm copying and then I'm going to go back to our work, our chapter 3, and then we paste it there. Okay, just like that. So I've copied. Now let me paste. Okay, so this is pasting it. Now this one is supposed to be in color, which color? Color green. Okay, because I want to use this color so that you don't get confused. So this is stating the item, and the item is correlation research design. So this is defining the item. Now what is next? The next thing is explaining the item. Okay, so how do we explain research design? We're supposed to explain research design like this. We're going to say that both quantitative and qualitative approaches will be used in data collection. Now I want to first explain that before we go any further. So this is explaining, should be in color blue. Okay, let me put it in color blue. Okay, just like that. Computer is too slow. Okay, so we have done what? We have done 3 things. We have stated the item, we have defined the item, we have explained the item. What is the third thing? The third thing is supposed to be giving a justification. But before we go to the justification, I want you people to understand what is quantitative, what is qualitative. We are saying that both quantitative and qualitative approaches will be used in data collection. Before we proceed, let me first explain quantitative, because many people don't understand what is quantitative and what is qualitative. Now, quantitative comes from the word quantity. Okay, so that means the word quantitative comes from the word quantity, and quantity means many things. Okay, so if you want to gather a lot of information, okay, a lot of data, you are supposed to use what you call questionnaires. Okay, and then qualitative comes from the word quality. Okay, if you want to get quality data, quality information, good information, the best information, you're supposed to interview. Therefore, use interview guide. Okay, so that means that quantitative approach is questionnaire, and the qualitative approach is what? Is interview guide. So whenever someone says quantitative, you should know that that is a questionnaire. Strictly, it has to be a questionnaire, nothing else. Okay, whenever someone says qualitative, you should know that that is interview guide. Okay, so that's how you know the difference between quantitative and qualitative. Okay, and whenever someone says both quantitative and qualitative approaches will be used, it means that both questionnaire and interview guide are going to be used in data collection. When you are collecting data from the field, you are going to go with 2 tools, questionnaire and interview guide. So that's why we are saying both quantitative and qualitative approaches will be used in data collection. Okay, so that is what it means a bit like. Now, then before I proceed, we have some people are doing public health. Okay, now if you are doing public health, we also have what's called, we also have other tools. Okay, we have other we have other tools. For instance, we have what you call focus group discussion. Okay, we have observation checklist. Okay, I think that is all. I don't think we have any other thing apart from those ones. We have, let's hold on a minute. So all these are also qualitative approaches, guys. Okay, all these are also part of qualitative approach. So whenever someone says qualitative approach, especially for those of you who are doing public health, then you can also add what you call focus group discussion, or you can as well add an observation checklist. Okay, but quantitative is only one tool. It is questionnaire. Okay, quantitative is questionnaire, and in most cases we call it a self-administered questionnaire. Many people they call it the self-administered questionnaire. Okay, so when someone says self-administered questionnaire, you should not get lost. Some people they call it a survey. Okay, a survey or a questionnaire, they're the same. Okay, survey or a questionnaire, they're the same. Some people even call it self-administered survey. So a self-administered survey and a self-administered questionnaire, they're the same things. Okay, that is what you call quantitative approach, meaning that a questionnaire is going to give you quantitative data because it is a quantitative approach. Okay, it is quantitative, so it's going to give you quantitative data. Okay, and then qualitative data is going to come from interview guide, focus group discussion, and observation checklist. So those are the things, those are the tools or the methods where qualitative data is going to be obtained. Okay, just hold on, I restart my camera. Then another thing, just hold on a minute. Okay, so let us proceed. We have already stated the item, we have defined the item, we have explained the item. Now the last thing should be give a justification. Why are you using this research design? Why are you using correlation research design? Why didn't you use cross section? Why didn't you use case study? Why didn't you use time series? Why didn't you use any other type of research design? So the last part should be the reason or the justification or the advantage of using that item. So how do we get that justification? We're supposed to start by saying that the researcher. Yes, please. Yes, Karid, ask your question. Karid, if you have any question, you can ask. Use. If you have any question, please, you can ask. So,
okay, teacher.
Yes.
You can only use four of these designs: case study research, time series research. You will do one of them, or you will do four of them. Four.
No. You are supposed to use only one of them. You can't choose.
There are four, but
yeah, there are four.
You will choose one of them.
Yes, you choose one of them depending on, if you are doing statistics, then you can use this. If you are doing public health, you can use this. If you use general, if your objectives are in general methods, then you use this one. If your objectives are in minute one format, then you use this one. So you have to use one research design. I've given you the most common ones. There are so many, but I've given you the ones that are known by supervisors. Okay, so you only use this one depending on these conditions. If let's say you're doing bachelor's degree, then you're going to use descriptive research design. If you are doing statistics or economics or economic policy planning, you're going to use time series. It is a must. Okay. If you are doing public health, you can use case study. Then if you are doing public health, you can as well use any of these two. By the way, it's not a must that you have to use case study. People are doing public health can also use these other two. Okay. These first two are the most common ones. Okay. These ones, they are the most common ones. You can either use this or this, whether you're doing public health or not. Okay. But in most cases, you have to look at your objectives. If the method of your objectives are in minute one, then you're going to use correlation research design. If your objectives are in general method format, then you're going to use cross-sectional research design. So those are the approaches. Those are the reasons that you're going to make you decide which research design to use. Okay. And if you're doing bachelor's, you have to use this. It is a must. Any other question? If you have any question, please, you can ask.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Yes, I understood.
You have understood. Okay. So let us proceed. Remember, we are still on research design. I've told you that chapter 3, you're supposed to use this structure. Okay. You state the item. We have already stated the item. We have said that the researcher will use correlation research design. Okay. Then the second thing should be defining the item. We have already defined the item. Then the third thing should be explained. The item we have already explained. We are saying both quantitative and qualitative approaches will be using data collection. When someone says both quantitative and qualitative approaches will be using data collection, it means that you are going to be using both questionnaire and interview guide. Okay, that is what it means. And then the last one is the justification. Now let us look for the justification. The reason why we're using correlational research design. So let us copy this and then we go to let us go back to Google. Okay, the internet. Okay, and then we look for advantages. Advantage of correlation research design. Just we need only like one. It doesn't have to be so many. Okay, we can as well take this. Okay, something like this. I've copied it. Now let us go this side. Let us go back to our data and then we paste it there. Okay, just like this. And we have finished. So that is what? That is justification or the advantage of using that item. The item is what? Is correlation research thing. So this is the structure that we're supposed to be using. Any questions? If you have any questions, please ask me. Any questions? Any other question? So now let us go to another item, which is target preparation. We have finished research design. So now let us go to target preparation. That is 3.1. So let us go to 3.2. Target preparation. Now, target preparation is the same as study preparation. Okay, let me first explain for you these different things. We have what you call my computer is a little bit slow in saving. We have what you call target preparation. We have sample size. We have also total preparation. Okay, these are three different things. Many people they get confused. What is total preparation? What is target preparation? What is sample size? What is this? What is that? Okay, now these are three different things. Okay, we have what you call total preparation. We also have what you call target preparation, which is the same as target preparation. We also have what you call sample size. Now, total preparation, that is the total number of people in the area. Okay, for instance, if we are using Mogadishu, remember our case study is what is Salama Bank Mogadishu. Then therefore we're supposed to use the total number of people in Mogadishu. The total number of people in Mogadishu can be like 2.5 million people. Okay, and we cannot use all these people. Okay, there are so many. That's why we usually have a target. The total population of the area is 2.5 million people in Mogadishu because we're using Salama Bank Mogadishu branch. Okay, so meaning that the total population of Mogadishu is 2.5 million people. Okay, now that's why we don't use total, we use target population. So why do we use target population? Target population, that is the total number of people that you are targeting. Okay, you can say I'm targeting 400, I'm targeting 300, I'm targeting 200, I'm targeting 100. Okay, a target is an estimation. There is no method to get target population. It's you to just set it. Okay, there is no method that you are supposed to use so that you can get target population. So you can say maybe I'm targeting 240 respondents. That is your target. Why? Because that's what you think you can be able to use. Okay, so the target is an estimation. There is no method. But sample size, this is the actual number of people that you are supposed to use. Okay, these ones can be like 150 respondents. We are going to calculate, no worries. Okay, we are going to calculate and we get sample size. So total population is the total number of people in the whole of Mogadishu. If you count everyone in Mogadishu, you are going to get 2.5 million people. Okay, but when you are doing research in Mogadishu, your topic is motivation and pre-performance at Salama Bank. Therefore, you cannot use other people who are not associated with Salama Bank. That's why we have what you call target population. So our target now, the people that we're targeting, the total number of people that we're targeting, they are how many? They are 240. Why? Because there is no reason, by the way. Okay, but it has to be a big number. It has to be more than 100. Okay, you can't say I'm targeting 50 people, 20 people. No, your target should be above 100 or 200 if you're doing masters. Yes, Abdweri, you have a question?
Yes, teacher, I have a question. Excuse
Okay.
me. Total population, target population, I understand, but sample says you just choose or you are calculating by formula.
Yeah, we calculate by formula. This one we calculate by formula. Calculate using the formula. Formula. Okay, that one we shall calculate using this formula. But this one we estimate it. Target we estimate it. Okay, and then the total population, that one is fixed. That one, you know that, for instance, in Kisenyi, there may be 500,000 Somalis. That is the total population of Kisenyi for Somalis. Okay, and then you can say, my target out of maybe 500,000 Somalis in Kisenyi. But for me, I'm targeting 180 Somalis, because maybe those are the ones who have information about my topic. For instance, you can be researching about procurement. Okay, and then you say, out of 500 Somalis who are living in Kisenyi, no, 500 million, 500 respondents, of the people who are living in Kisenyi, my topic is about maybe business. Okay, so therefore I should target 180, because 180 are the people, 180 Somalis are the ones that I can get who have information about my topic. So it depends on the topic that you are doing. You can't just say a number just like that. You have to make sure that you use a number that is reasonable. Okay, then after that, the sample size, of course, this one you calculate it. If you are using 180, you can get like, I'm not so sure, maybe like 120. Okay, but you have to calculate this. So sample size is the actual number of people that you are going to get when you go there. Remember, you are targeting 180. Okay, that is at 180 people that you are targeting. But if you go to Kisenyi to carry out research, you're not going to get all these people. Some people can say, I'm busy. Some people can be, maybe they might not be around to participate in your research. Okay, so that's why you're going to end up with a sample size which is 120. So a sample size has to be less than target population. Okay, you target very many people, but when you go to the field and you carry out research, the people that you are going to get are not going to be the people you targeted. It has to be a smaller number, which is 120. And how do you get this? By calculating using the formula. Yes, any other question? Let us continue. So let us continue. So under target population, but our time is almost done. You are going to click on the link and then join in for the last session. But meanwhile, we're just remaining with 2 minutes. So under target population, we suppose target population is the same as study population. I've already told you that. Okay, we are going to say the researcher will randomly target the population of, let's say, 240 respondents. Okay, at Sanama Bank. Okay, and then you can say that these will include. So before we do that, let us stop there. Okay, so this is stating the item. Remember, we are still using the other structure. Where is it? It is here. Okay. We have stated the item. What is next? The next thing should be defining the item. So what do we define here? We are supposed to define what is target population. We don't define 240 guys. Okay, unless if you want people to laugh at you. Okay, so when you are done with stating the item, the second thing should be defining the item. Okay, so let us go on the internet. Let us go back to our Google, and then we define the meaning of what? Of target population. So let us go back to Google. If you have any questions, please, you can ask. So we are back here. So we are going to define what is target population, just like that. And then we get a definition. Okay. If you want, you can open this one. Let me see, which one can I take? If you want, you can even take this one. Okay, I've copied it. I've copied the definition of target population. So let me come back this side. Then I do what? I paste it there, just like that. So let me put it in the color green, because that is what? That is defining the item. What is next? The next thing is explaining the item. Now, how do you explain the item? You are supposed to explain these 240 respondents. Who are they? Okay, you have to explain them. Okay, for instance, we are going to say that these will include. Okay, remember your topic is about motivation and employee performance. So you can engage, for instance, the top authorities of Sanama Bank. You can also involve human resource officials. You can also include employees, other employees of the bank. Let me call them other employees. And then lastly, you can also involve clients, the bank clients. Okay, just like that. So we have explained the target population. These are the people that we are going to involve in our research. Just hold on.